There is someone who loves you with a depth they can barely survive, and yet they are the one choosing distance. Let that settle in. Not because they feel nothing. Not because you imagined the bond. Not because the story is over. They are staying away because what they feel has become too real, too strong, too life-changing to ignore, and they do not know how to hold that kind of truth without trembling. So before your mind starts racing, slow down. Breathe. Stay here with me because what you are about to hear may explain the silence in a way your heart has sensed for a long time. This is not a small connection. This is not casual emotion. You touched a place in them that had been locked for years, maybe for most of their life, and ever since then, they have not been the same. They try to act normal. They try to stay composed. They try to tell themselves it is not that deep. But deep down, they know it is. You changed something in them. You opened a door they never planned to open. And now, they are caught between two forces, the pull toward you and the fear of what loving you will demand from them. Listen closely because the silence is not empty. It is crowded with unsent words, swallowed feelings, restless nights, and the ache of someone who cares more than they know how to show. There is a person in your life, or from your past, who carries real devotion for you, but they do not know how to stand inside a feeling this powerful without wanting to run. That is the truth. Their distance is not proof that the bond was fake. Their quiet is not proof that you mattered less. In many ways, the opposite is true. They step back because being near you made everything inside them louder. It woke their longing. It woke their fear. It woke parts of them they had buried under habits, defenses, and emotional walls. You did not just pass through their life. You reached the center. You touched the place they protect even from themselves. And once that happened, nothing felt simple anymore. Your voice stayed with them. Your energy stayed with them. Your absence stayed with them. Even now, they replay moments that looked small on the outside but felt enormous inside them. A glance, a pause, a conversation, a silence between words. They remember more than you think. They feel more than they admit. Stay with me because this matters. When someone has spent years surviving by staying guarded, real love does not always feel safe at first. Sometimes it feels like standing at the edge of something beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Sometimes it feels like finally being seen, and for a wounded heart, that can feel almost unbearable. You became a mirror for them, and that is one reason they pulled away. In you, they did not only see comfort, they saw truth. They saw what they wanted. They saw what they lacked. They saw old pain they never fully healed. They saw the life they could have if they stopped hiding. And they saw the risk of losing something precious if they failed to rise to it. That is why the connection hit them so hard. It was not only about romance. It was exposure. It was transformation. It was a quiet shaking of everything they thought they could control. With you, they felt open, uncovered, human. The walls they built so carefully did not work the same anymore. The masks slipped. The distance between who they pretend to be and who they really are became impossible to ignore. That scared them. It still scares them. Because when a person is used to emotional survival, vulnerability can feel more dangerous than loneliness. So they retreat. They go silent. They act cold when inside they are anything but cold. They tell themselves they need more time, more clarity, more strength, more certainty. But the truth is simpler. They are afraid of how much power this love has over them. Afraid that one honest moment with you will undo every false comfort they have been hiding behind. Afraid that if they come closer, there will be no way to go back to the numb version of themselves they used to call peace. A part of their silence is tied to guilt, and you need to understand that. They do not only fear love, they fear failing inside it. They believe you deserve someone steadier, cleaner, more healed, more ready than they feel right now. They look at their own scars and imagine them spilling into something pure. They replay past mistakes like a film they cannot shut off. They think about what they should have said, what they should have done, how they should have shown up better. They worry that their confusion, their wounds, their habits, their unresolved pain could damage the very thing they treasure most. So instead of risking a broken attempt, they disappear into delay. They tell themselves they are protecting you. They tell themselves they are protecting the connection. They tell themselves they will return when they can offer more. But silence has its own cost, and deep down they know it. Every day they stay away, the pressure grows. Every day they do not speak, the truth inside them gets heavier. Every day they pretend not to care, something in them feels less alive. If this is touching something in you, keep listening, because what looks like distance is often a private war. On the outside, they may seem calm, busy, composed, maybe even unaffected. But in quiet moments, when distraction fades and the world gets still, they feel it all. The missing, the longing, the regret. The question that follows them everywhere: What if they lose you because fear kept them silent too long? They have tried to replace the feeling. It did not work. They have tried to bury it under routine, noise, pride, and other people. It did not work. They have tried to call it temporary, to label it nostalgia, to shrink it into something manageable. It did not work, because what they feel for you does not stay neatly in one corner. It moves through everything. It shows up at night. It appears in random memories. It rises in moments when your name enters their mind for no reason they can explain. They may be walking, working, driving, pretending, laughing, even speaking to someone else, and then suddenly the thought of you arrives with full force. That is how real this is for them. Your bond lives underneath the surface of their days. It does not need permission. It does not wait to be invited. And that is exactly why they feel both drawn and overwhelmed. The heart in them keeps moving toward you while the wounded parts keep pulling back. It is a contradiction that exhausts them. They want relief, but they keep choosing the kind of distance that gives none. They want peace, but nothing feels peaceful without truth. They want to feel in control, but control slips every time they remember how safe, alive, and understood they felt around you. So they stand in a painful middle place, not gone, not present, not free, just circling the same feelings, trying to outthink a bond that was never created in the mind alone. Many times they have thought about reaching out. More times than you know. They have written messages in their head. They have imagined how the first words would sound. They have pictured your response. They have typed and erased, started and stopped, opened the conversation and backed away. They rehearse bravery, then fear enters. They build momentum, then doubt tears it down. What if you moved on? What if you are tired now? What if the space they left has already closed? What if they finally speak and discover they waited too long? These questions haunt them, not once, again and again. And still, even under all that fear, hope remains. That is important. Hope remains. They wonder if your heart still feels the connection in quiet moments. They wonder if you still think of them when the night gets soft and the noise of the day fades. They wonder if the bond still lives in you the way it lives in them. Do not click away, because this next part matters. Their silence is not indifference. It is hesitation wrapped around intense feeling. It is someone standing outside the door of their own truth, hand almost reaching for the handle, but not yet strong enough to turn it. Yet the pressure is building. And there comes a point in every heart's journey when staying hidden hurts more than stepping into the light. Right now they are learning a hard lesson. Distance does not kill real feeling. It reveals it. They thought time would weaken this. Instead, time sharpened it. They thought space would calm them. Instead, space made the absence louder. They thought silence would protect them. Instead, silence turned into a weight they carry everywhere. When they wake up, it is there. When they lie down at night, it is there. In the middle of ordinary moments, it is there. The truth they kept trying to postpone has become part of their daily life. They are beginning to see that no perfect time is coming to rescue them. No flawless version of themselves is arriving on schedule. No future moment will remove all fear. Love like this does not wait for complete certainty. It asks for honesty before comfort. It asks for courage before guarantees. And this realization is changing them from the inside. Slowly, yes. Unevenly, yes. But truly. They are starting to understand that every extra day of waiting risks turning something sacred into something wounded by delay. They are starting to understand that the greater danger is not rejection. It is regret. It is living with the knowledge that fear made their choices while the heart begged for something braver. That understanding is not small. It is the beginning of their return to themselves, and once that process starts, everything inside begins to shift. The distance has forced them inward, and that inward turn is changing them more than anyone can see. At first, they resisted it. They tried to stay busy. They tried to outrun reflection. They tried to make the ache smaller by refusing to look at it directly. But eventually, the quiet cornered them. The loneliness started speaking. The emptiness started revealing things. They began seeing that what they once called strength was often just shut down. What they once called independence was often fear wearing a proud face. What they once called self-protection was often emotional exile. Being away from you did not numb them the way they hoped. It exposed them. It showed them their habits, their patterns, their old wounds, their hidden shame. Their belief that love must be earned through struggle or delayed until they become perfect. And little by little that belief is cracking. They are seeing that you did not ask for perfection. You asked for presence. You did not demand a polished version of them. You offered space for something real. That realization is both comforting and devastating. Comforting because it means love did not require the impossible. Devastating because it shows how much fear stole from them. If you are still here, you are hearing the deeper truth now. They are not simply missing you. They are confronting themselves because of you. The bond became a mirror, and the mirror is no longer easy to avoid. They remember how it felt to be with you, not in a vague, dreamy way, in sharp details, the tone of your voice, the peace in your presence, the way conversations with you could go deep without effort, the feeling that they did not have to perform, impress, or hide every rough edge. They remember being understood in ways they were not prepared for. They remember feeling softer around you, more awake, more honest, more alive. That kind of memory does not fade easily, especially when life around them feels flatter without it. They may act fine in public. They may keep moving through their routine. They may even convince others they have let go. But inside, they know the difference between existing and truly feeling, and with you, they felt something real. That is why the absence hurts so much. Not because you were merely important, but because with you, they touched a version of themselves that felt closer to truth. They did not only feel love from you, they felt possibility. They felt safety. They felt the chance to become more than the guarded person they had spent years being. That is not easy to forget, and now the contrast is following them. The more they remember how genuine it was, the harder it becomes to keep living as if distance is enough. A heart can only deny its own hunger for so long before the emptiness starts demanding an answer. What they are facing now is the collapse of the old story they used to live by. The old story said feelings are dangerous. The old story said needing someone is weakness. The old story said love should be controlled, delayed, managed, or avoided before it gets too deep. But your connection shattered that script. It showed them that what is real cannot always be contained. It showed them that the strongest thing a person can do is not always to hide. Sometimes the strongest thing is to stay, to speak, to risk being seen, to choose the truth while still shaking. They are slowly learning this. Sometimes with grace, sometimes with tears, sometimes with long nights and restless thoughts and the painful understanding that they made distance into a prison and called it safety. But growth is happening. It is messy, but it is happening. Their heart is getting louder than their excuses. Their longing is getting stronger than their avoidance. Their need to be honest is beginning to outweigh their habit of disappearing. Stay a little longer, because this is where everything starts turning. A person can resist love for a long time, but when the cost of resistance becomes greater than the fear of surrender, change begins. And that is exactly the point they are moving toward now, whether they are ready to admit it yet or not. Sooner or later, the silence becomes unbearable. That is the stage they are nearing. The distance they once used to calm themselves now feels like a slow loss of breath. The words they held back are becoming too heavy to carry. The role they have been playing no longer fits. They are tired of pretending they do not care, tired of checking from a distance, tired of reading signs into small things, tired of wondering what would happen if they just told the truth, tired of imagining your face and hearing your voice only through memory, tired of choosing fear and then living with the ache that follows. There comes a point when the heart grows tired of being silenced, when even pride cannot keep up the act, when regret starts knocking louder than self-protection. They are nearing that edge. They feel it. You may feel it too. Something is changing. The reasons they used to justify staying away are losing their power. The excuses sound weaker now. The old defenses are cracking under the weight of what they can no longer deny. And when that break finally comes, it may seem sudden from the outside, but it will have been building for a long time. Through every restless night, every swallowed message, every memory, every moment of missing you, every second they spent trying and failing to erase what was never meant to be erased. So hear this clearly. They are not gone in the way fear keeps telling you they are. They are in a struggle. They are in a transformation. They are gathering the kind of courage that does not come all at once, but piece by piece, breath by breath, truth by truth. They are learning that love is not about arriving flawless. It is about arriving honest. It is about showing up before every fear is solved. It is about choosing connection over ego, presence over delay, truth over hiding. And yes, they still hesitate. Yes, they still wrestle with doubt. Yes, they still wonder if there is room for them in your world after all this silence. But the feeling has not died. If anything, it has deepened through the distance. It has matured in the dark. It has become something they can no longer call temporary. That is why the return lives inside the future of this story. Not because everything is easy now. Not because they suddenly became fearless. But because what they feel keeps pushing them toward honesty. And eventually, honesty asks to be lived, not just felt in secret. If this message found you at the right moment, hold that quietly in your heart. Something in them is moving. Something in them is waking up. And when the pain of staying away becomes greater than the fear of coming close, they will not be able to keep hiding behind silence anymore. When that moment arrives, it will not be small. It will not be casual. It will carry the weight of everything unsaid and the tenderness of everything still alive between you. They may come with shaking hands, with imperfect words, with a heart that has been through its own storm, but they will come truer than before. Not halfway, not hidden behind pride, not playing games with distance. They will come because life has shown them what absence really costs. They will come because they finally understand that real connection is rare and losing it to fear is a pain deeper than rejection. They will come because every day without truth has taught them that silence cannot hold what the soul keeps trying to speak. And until that day, remember this: the bond did not disappear just because it went quiet. Some stories grow in silence before they return in clarity. Some hearts need to break open before they can speak plainly. Some people must face themselves before they can fully face the one they love. That process is not pretty, it is not quick, but it is real. So if you have felt that this distance was never the full story, trust that feeling. There is more moving beneath the surface than the silence ever revealed. And somewhere in that hidden place, courage is forming. Truth is rising, the walls are weakening, the fear is losing ground, and the love they tried to outrun is slowly becoming the very thing that leads them back.